I've worked with hundreds of women entrepreneurs to help them market their businesses. Behind their businesses, they all have stories to tell. Whether it's battling mommy guilt, starting a business after being fired from a six-figure job, or realizing they needed to pivot and forge an uncharted path, they've all experienced something on their journey to success. I'm one of these women too, and I'm here to share our stories on Bright Girls in Business. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's another Wednesday, and we are back here with the Bright Girls in Business show. I am the host, Chanel Yarber, and I am always excited to come here and share my platform with other up-and-coming bright girls in business. So we have a lovely lady here today that I've been waiting weeks, and I've been super excited to meet. I actually met her in person last week. We ran into each other out, and so I just want to say before I introduce her that the same person that I met online is the same person that I met in person, and sometimes that's a little rare, but I'm so glad that I met her in person before we got her here. So I'm going to introduce you to her because she's, all that in a bag of chips. So when a person discovers their purpose and true meaning in life, they become an unstoppable force that is continually motivated by others. ShantaQuilette Develle is one such person whose multifacetedness only serves to further distinguish her as the highly accomplished, energetic, and ambitious individual that she is. And she is all that, for real. With her heart set on seeing women thrive through all stages of their lives by helping them break any and all self-limiting beliefs as well as defying the odds stacked against them, she endeavors to help them begin their transformational journeys through a holistic approach. She is a dynamic author, comedienne, and content creator who is also a heart attack and stroke thriver. And we are here today to talk about manifesting your best and most purposeful life. So welcome, Miss ShantaQuilette.
Hey, how you doing? I was like, who they talking about? That's me.
That's you, girl. That's all you that we talking about right here.
Let me read that. Let me see again.
Yeah, that's you. That's you. It's all you. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for bringing me upon your amazing show. Like you said, it was such a pleasure to meet you in person because you find that people are not who they appear to be or who they post to be online.
That is so true. That is so true. And when I saw you, I was like, I think that's her. And then when I approached, I was like, I hope she don't start acting out Hollywood because, we was up there with some, celebrities. And I was like, I hope she don't be acting out Hollywood. And she was like, hey, girl. I'm like, see, that's why she coming on the show because she's down to earth and cool. So thank you for being here. Now, I want to just dive right on in because I feel like we've known each other, even though we just met in person last week. I feel like we've known each other for quite some time because I've been connected to you on Facebook and we always laugh and kiki and all this stuff. And I've seen your videos going viral and I've just seen the glow up. But I want to get the backstory. Like, how did you get here? What triggered all of this, you leaping into being a multifaceted entrepreneur?
Wow. So I can definitely tell you it was not intentional. Every step of my path has been strategically outlined by God. I want to say 15 years ago, just started with the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. By trade, I am an accountant, forensic accountant, MBA, and have always been into economics and finance. In 2014, decided to take a leap of faith, wanted to take a step up in my career, and I ended up moving to Arkansas. Rural Arkansas. Oh. And I can tell you it's everything like 1990. I ain't even been in the 60s, but if I had to say what it was like, I would say about 1958-ish. So during that time, it was a tumultuous time for me in my career. It was just heart-wrenching. During that same time, I had 3 girlfriends, and also an aunt who was battling breast cancer. This is when my first step into my purpose came about. My aunt and my 2 friends ended up passing away in 2015. My girlfriend at the time, who was still living, Shamika, she was, battling depression. She was, metastatic. And I decided to send her a gift one day. I sent her this pretty pink box full of all the things that I love that made me happy: makeup, lipstick, lotions. And she was absolutely elated. And at that time, she was like, you know what? Nobody is doing this. Nobody is doing this for breast cancer patients. You should do this for breast cancer patients. And I was like, and I said, very frankly, no, ma'am, this is just for you. And so she later passed away. And I took all the things that my friends had poured into me, and what they said that they were missing as patients, and I found a gap. And I filled it. And so I started this event called GlamCon, standing for Glamorous Conquerors, where breast cancer patients, friends, and family could come together all in one day to celebrate survivorship. And it then landed into the Pink Peppermint Project, where we are a nonprofit 501c3 that provides programs, resources, and services to breast cancer patients and their caregivers, through events, programs, boxes, anything you think of that will just brighten a woman's day, we provide.
I love that because, first of all, we know just breast cancer is seeming to become more and more common, and especially, I mean, I'm not getting old, but as I'm getting more mature, I'm still young, but as I'm getting more mature, more of my friends and family members that are around me are being affected. We know it, right now it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And just watching people that, are so lively and you just don't think that you think people are invincible sometimes,
Right.
and then you see your friends and you see your family go through the battle and, hopefully come out on the other side stronger, better. But like you said, you lost friends and family, and my condolences to you. But to turn that into something so purposeful and powerful, I think is phenomenal, because many people, they end up wallowing in it rather than, shifting it and turning it into something positive. So
Absolutely.
So now you talk about your career and you being in 1960s Arkansas. Oh my God. So did you leave were you in Dallas first and then you went there?
I was actually in Dallas with my
Okay.
family. The one thing I have to say is that I have an amazing support system, especially a husband. I have an amazing husband, that just supports me at every angle of my life. And so when I decided to take a step up in my career, and I found that the only way that I would be able to take a leap of faith and move up was to move. And so I told my husband that I wanted to, I got offered the position in different places, every place but Dallas. Dallas was the only place that I didn't receive an offer. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to miss this for anything. And my husband was like, hey, we're going to do what we got to do. Move to Arkansas. I'll hold it down at home. You're 4 hours away. We're going to make this happen. And what I say is that, it did not necessarily work out to there, but it worked out, because what I credited to the enemy, I was discrediting God, because it catapulted me into my purpose. And I opened up Pink Peppermint Project through the pain that I endured in that period of my life, turned into ultimate purpose.
Ain't that something? Like when we're in the middle of the struggle and in the middle of that pain, all you can see and feel is what you're in the middle of. And then you come out on the other side and it's like, had I not, taken that step, had I not gone through this or that or whatever, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have come out on the other side and had these experiences. I just find that to be so fascinating. And sometimes we forget, like you go through struggles and then you overcome and then you get in another one and it's like you forgot that the last time you came out. It's like somehow your mind gets erased and it's like, oh my God. And you start panicking again. It's like, no, just look back. You came out the last time and you came out stronger and better the last time. So just, keep tracking. So I think that's great. So,
Absolutely.
so you went through all of that, and then how did we get to the point now? I want to fast forward to, what was it, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Or now, how did we get there? From, you said 2014, you moved to Arkansas. How did you get to the point, and what happened with the stroke and the heart attack and all that?
Listen, I say God is one of the biggest comedians that we have here on this
He
earth.
is.
And you be like, God, I'm not laughing. Like you got to get to the punchline real quick because I'm not really even getting this. But I ended up having a stroke. So here's the thing. I've always known. I was told at a very little age, at a very young age, what I was going to be and who I was supposed to be, right? And I was always fighting that. I was always trying to do everything other than what God had called me to be because of fear. And what God will let you know is if you won't do it, I'll do it for you. And so I was, really loving my job. I had transferred back here to Dallas. Just loving my job. I didn't have a complaint. It wasn't something like I hate my job. I want to stop working. I was really working hard on my job, but I was also working hard with my nonprofit as well. And what you learn, they have this thing where, everybody wants to say, I'm a superwoman, girl, I'm a strong woman, throw that all out the window. That's hot mess.
No.
You can't do everything. If you try to do everything, something is going to be left undone. Right. And so that's where I was. I was trying to give 100% to everything that I was doing, my marriage, my children, my job, and it just wasn't adding up. And so one day, I had been having some health issues since 2012. That's a whole nother story, going back and forth to the doctor, trying to relay message to them to understand I knew my body. But like I said, God knows me better. So I ended up having a stroke. At work. And like, people say, you can't take life for granted. I was just in the office talking to my manager about what I was going to do that weekend. On a Tuesday morning at 7 a.m., I had my whole week planned out. 5 minutes after that conversation, I collapsed on the floor and was on my way to Baylor. My husband's getting a phone call saying that your wife has collapsed at work and she's unresponsive, right? So for the next 2 years, I'm in physical, occupational, and speech therapy. I'm walking with a walker. I have a cane. I can hardly, communicate. It's just everything changed overnight. And I just started going through what most people go through when you have a total life change, especially when it's a major life change. Depression, stress, I'm not who I used to be. Like, what is going on? But what I did know is that it pulled me up by the lapels, right? God opened, like, I'm like, okay, I hear you. What, okay, God. Okay, I'm laughing out a little. Okay. And that's when the vision started coming. That's when the doors started opening, and I started Girl Be Natural, because I was like, I got shifted into perimenopause. I'm like, okay, I can't find any products. I started researching. Okay, Black women don't experience menopause like white women experience menopause. Now I got to go through this and figure this out. Now they're not products for me. So I created a lane for myself that in turn turned into something great, turned into something amazing. And fast forward, going through rehabilitation, which is very, very tiresome, very depressing, learning how to do things that you already knew how to do before. I one day was laying in the bed and my daughter said, "Hey, Mom, you want to get on TikTok?" I'm like, "What's TikTok?" And she's like, "Oh, it's just this app. I want you to do this dance. It's this trending dance. Will you do it with me?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll do it." And I started doing it. And then, she asked me to do a few other things, had me and my husband participating. And I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool app." And I downloaded it and just started getting on the app and really enjoying it. Really didn't know what my niche was. Actually didn't know what a niche was, right? At that time, I didn't know what my niche was. I love to cook. I love to do all these amazing things, but I am a great storyteller. And my friends were like, you need to get on and tell some of those crazy stories that you be telling us about your family. And I'm like, girl, don't nobody want to listen to that. And it was the door that God had opened for me. I was having a really bad day after therapy. I remember, I believe it was December 7th, 2020. I was having a really bad day. I looked in the mirror. I didn't know who I was. I just didn't recognize myself. I felt unhappy. Um, it was just all these things. I was just going back to the place, like, why can't I, I was supposed to do this at the IRS. I was supposed to make it here. I'm thinking about all these things. And I did that video, told a story in a funny way to really describe what I thought about myself in that moment. And I woke up the next morning. Well, first what happened was I did the video and somebody reported it, and I had to appeal it. And so I appealed it, and I was like, everybody's like, you need to change the caption. The caption is misleading, and all these different things. And I'm like, but that's not, God gave me that caption. That caption was put on my mind for a reason. So I appealed it and put it back up. And I went to sleep that evening, and I woke up to my phone just going crazy. I never had so many notifications on my phone. I didn't know what was going on. I looked at my phone. I just saw TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. I was like, what's going on? Then I'm starting getting text messages from people like, oh my God, D. Hella Ugly just, and I'm like, what is going on here? I'm still a full-time employee for the IRS, right? So I'm like, what is going on? And so I looked, and people were like, you're viral. I was like, what does that even mean? They were like, you're viral. It still didn't tell me what it meant, but they were just like, you're viral. And from there opened up the door of my calling. The little girl who always watched Benny Hill, the little girl who was in love with Jenny McCarthy and Tracy Ullman, the girl who was in love with Whoopi and who used to sneak at night to watch HBO comedy specials with Billy Crystal. All that stuff started coming, and I was like, okay, God. And I just kept going with it. And the more that I kept going with it, the more it would grow and keep growing. And I'm here today.
Let me tell you, that just blessed my soul so much, like on so many different levels. Because one, we share a commonality in that I had a major health scare and life-changing surgery and all of that. So I know what it's like to be in your body and not feel like you're in your body. And you can't really describe that to anybody other than somebody that's been through that. Where it's like, yes, this is me, but this ain't me at the same time. And like you said, all the struggles and everything that come along with that. And then just the transition to, I wasn't even trying to do this. Like, I wasn't really even trying to do this. I just fell into this thing. This has been, spoken over me or been my path and my calling for however long. And now, boom, here I am. Somehow I arrived here, and it wasn't even my plan. And that just is like, it's giving me all the feels right now because I can totally resonate with that story. And I'm going to tell you, when I saw you on that doggone TikTok, it was one you did with your son. Y'all were dancing. And then another one you did, and you were talking about going to your daughter's school, and they said somebody came to pick her up or something. And
that's the story. That's the story. When I was describing how I feel like his hair was fragile, he had a mustache. They said he was out of shape.
Girl,
all those details were me talking about myself.
That thing tickled me so bad. I was like, oh my God. It was like, they said it was, I can't even remember. And I wish I had the video up to play it. But that thing tickled me so bad. I said, oh my God. And here's the thing that I love about you is that your comedy and your videos and your content is so authentic, where we're in this space right now where so many people are putting on, right? They're putting on for Instagram, they're putting on for Facebook, TikTok, and all this stuff. And it's like, they're one way here and they're a whole nother way somewhere else. So they're creating all of these scenes and this and that. And it's like, no, you came on and you actually put yourself in the center of a joke where most people would not be that vulnerable and that authentic to be able to do that. So that's what made me be like, okay, this girl is going places.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I feel like you can't be anybody but yourself. The hardest thing to do is to pretend that you're someone else. And I've never been one to do that. Even in high school, that was probably one of the things that kept me in fights and things like that, because I was always who I was going to be, you know. And that's one thing my parents and my dad had always told me, like, you be the best be the best version of yourself that you can, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, right? So I always was affirmed. I was always affirmed as a child. I always knew that I was, you know, I was destined to be something, you know. And now when I told my dad I wanted to be a comedian, he said I wanted to be a clown. So he didn't, you know, he didn't take very lightly of that. But now you see, when you can't get away from purpose. You cannot get away from your calling. You know, it's there. And the thing is that, you know, the world presents you with so many things, right? So many obstacles, so many opportunities, but it's how you decide to run it. You know, you can go this way, you know, you come to this fork in the road, you can go to purpose or you can go to pain, right? And I choose to move out of my pain and I'm going to ride into purpose until God calls me home. Okay. So that's where that, I think that's what's important, is being authentic and being transparent and getting away from, you know, these beautiful feeds on social media of people, you know, oh, I'm doing this. And, you know, they're you know, turn off the camera and they're in the corner crying. Yeah. No, I want you to see all parts of me as a human being, me as a mother, me as a wife, me as a friend. That's what people need to see, because people need to know that there are people out there like me. Yeah, I live in a nice house. But hey, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything for me. Like, all this stuff can be taken away. And that's what I learned during my stroke. You know, they're like, oh, do this. And I'm like, listen, you know, none of this, my house, my car, my money in my bank, whatever I had could not prevent me from having a stroke. Absolutely. None of that stopped me from having a stroke. None of that stopped me from having a heart attack. So, you know, that's why it's so important to be you, and always, I feel like, treat people the way you want to treat yourself, because I always say the person that you frowned on might be signing your check one day. So you have to be careful. Imagine you would have came up to me and I was been nasty, and you'd been the person at the next casting that I'd had to audition for, and I'd be like, oh, that was the woman that I met, and she was coming up to me, and I was all nasty to her, and that's all she gonna remember.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You led right into perfectly. Like, I almost feel like you reading my notes, but anyway, you reading my notes.
God was good.
You led really perfectly into my next question, which is, what is purposeful living to you? I know everybody has their idea of what that might be, but to you, what does that mean?
So purpose to me is cultivated by impact. You know, the impact that I'm able to provide around all the people that I come across, whether it's my husband, my children, the people that watch me on social media every day. Being able to make a positive connection to people is purposeful for me. Living in a life of peace, being happy is purposeful for me. I am in the best place in my life that I have ever been. And you don't realize how much peace, how much impact purpose and peace has on you. It makes you smile better. It makes you laugh better. The way you walk is better. You know, my husband would say certain things like, I can tell that you are in a happier place, a happier space. Because, you know, to me, I didn't know that that's what I was exuding, because I had this demanding job. But now a purposeful life for me is just peace. It's peace and happiness, and knowing that I'm making a positive impact on the world. You know, purpose ties into your legacy. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? What do you want people to remember about you? And I want people to know that they saw the Christ in me. They saw the love in me. They saw the happiness in me. And if anybody ever told you I want to treat people so well, if anybody ever told you I treated you nasty, nobody would believe you.
I love that. I love that, because so many times we're we're in this rat race and we try to tie purpose to a dollar amount or an achievement or all these things that really at the end of the day they don't amount to a hill of beans. And like you said, it's not going to keep you from getting sick or having a stroke or a heart attack or any of life's other calamities, right? No matter how much money you have in your bank account, you still have to
Right.
go through life. But just to think about your legacy and, like you said, peace and joy and all of those things that are intangible. Even if you had all the money in the world you couldn't buy, I think that is so phenomenal that you have tied it to that. And it tells me a lot about you. It tells me you've been through enough to know better.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it
And
tells me.
and money is a tool. Money is used to be a tool to help you provide. And the more that I believe that you walk in your purpose, the more of that tool you'll receive to be able to not only bless yourself and bless others. Because ultimately you can't take it with you. You can't. So I think it is important to know, okay, money is a tool, and and I don't want to get into the word, but the word tells us that, money is used for a tool. As a tool, it's not to obsess over, and I think that's where people miss the point. Yes, I'm never going to say I love nice things. I love a nice wig. I love all these things, but I know that I still have to lead. I have to lead a certain way to continue to receive the blessings that I have by just being myself and trusting in God.
Yeah. So what would you tell other women who may be trying to, scratch and survive and find their purpose and they're not yet thriving or at the place of where they found their purpose? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them to get them on track?
I would just tell them that the one thing I always say is no and not right now doesn't mean never. I think a lot of times we get caught up on what someone else is doing, that we feel like we need to be in that place in that moment as well, versus having the faith and knowing that if you trust in God, He will provide you the vision. The idea of comparison is painful, and I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. Social media, it's really positive, but it's also really negative. So I say stop looking on what's on the outside and the aesthetic, because you don't know what those people are going through and what they are having to do to get there, or even if it's even real, right? So you just got to find a place in your life and be truly happy with yourself. And once you are truly happy, God will give you that vision. Like I said, it took 20 years for me to get here. Like I said, God's timing doesn't, it doesn't equate to our timing. But like I said, God knows better. So God may not be blessing you right now, and not necessarily blessing because you're alive, He's blessing you. We just start there. Yeah. If you're alive, you're blessed. But sometimes you say, hey, you're asking for all these things, and it may not be in alignment with you right now. You're like, oh, I want a big house. I want this. And you can't, you behind on the rent every month.
Uh-oh.
So how is God going to bless you with something so big if you can't manage the small things? So God, that's what my God does. My God, it's either within His will or it's not, and He always answers the prayer. It's either no, not now, or never. Okay. Because there's something greater on the other end. And I just say, just have faith, believe in yourself, love yourself, and it'll come.
I love that, man. Look, I need to bring you on. You need to come in the studio and be like a permanent guest, because your energy is just everything. So,
I would do it.
I'm serious. Look, don't make me add another seat in here, because you first of all you preach it to me, and I thrive off good energy people. I just do, and you're one of those people. So I'm just excited. Now,
good energy is everything, child.
It is, because you can get in some rooms with some people and they drain the mess out of you. But anywho,
have you on E with the transmission out.
Oh, see, that's funny. Now, before we go, I always do my top 5 questions that I ask all of my guests.
Okay.
It's random questions, no right or wrong answer. It's
Okay.
just for fun. So let
Okay.
your head down and have fun. All right. So first of all, I want to know, what is the origin story of your name? Because when I saw it, I said, now that is unique. I don't know anybody else with a name like that. So I knew you had to come here with like some kind of purpose to be able to stand
Yes.
out like that. But what's the origin story of your name?
So first, I'd like to tell everybody I am the only ShantaQuilette in the world. Okay, as of 2019, when I had my background check with the government, I'm the only ShantaQuilette. There's no other ShantaQuilette. So the name, I actually used to didn't even like my name. So my mom had a cousin, and her cousin was pregnant, 9 months pregnant, and she was going to name her daughter ShantaQuilette, that or ShantaQuilette, something like that, ShantaQuilette. And she ended up being killed in a car accident, killed on impact, her and the baby. So as a, I guess, token of appreciation, my mom named me after that child.
Wow. See, I knew it was a story behind that. I said, that's something you look, we can get creative with some names.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought about that too when I had come up with the question, because my name is Chanel, so it's somewhat common, but growing up I never knew another Chanel. So I didn't like my name because I didn't have other people that had my name. Weird.
Same here. It was same here. It was either the teachers would change it because they were having a difficult time saying it or spelling it themselves, that they brought it down to ShantaQ. So that's why I go, that's why it's called Hey ShantaQ, because that's what everybody called me in school. But yeah, I didn't like it at first, but now, I had this really interesting encounter with Oprah Winfrey, and here at a Dallas event, and she was on the red carpet with her publicist, and the publicist asked me my name, and I said ShantaQuilette. And as Oprah was turning to get back on the red carpet, she said ShantaQuilette, in Oprah fashion. She said ShantaQuilette. That's a beautiful name. It should be in bright lights.
See?
And I just said, yes, ma'am. I just said, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. And, and I had already been using ShantaQuilette then, but yeah, it's a very, very unique name. Is ShantaQuilette Develle is my middle name. So it all comes together so gracefully. So I embrace it now.
I love it. And your name is like for real. It's gonna be in lights like real soon. I'm speaking that on you. You just don't make me fall over in this chair. No, I'm serious. Like you got something on you. And I was talking a couple weeks back with another guest just about energy and spirits and like picking up stuff on people. And I just, we'll talk after this, but yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So my second question is, when you were 10 years old, think back, about 5 years ago when you were 10, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, you're going to laugh.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old, I used to watch. I'm from Denver, Colorado. So on Channel 31 on Sundays, you would always get a Kung Fu movie or a good karate, Bruce Lee movie or ninja. I was destined to be a ninja.
Oh my God. So
I wanted to be a full-blown ninja in a whole ninja suit. And I was going to go be in Shaolin on missions, protecting.
That is hilarious. So when I was about 8 or 9, I think I was a ninja for Halloween. And I took that thing so seriously. I had some stars and everything. Like, so yes, I totally.
I had a whole book that my mom bought me at a bookstore, and it was a ninja training book. And I remember in that book, it showed you how to walk and come in areas without people knowing you're there. And it was like sneaking through, sneaking in the dark. Girl, listen, I used to walk in the house practicing, like, Mama, did you hear me? Did you hear me? And she like, yeah, baby, I didn't hear you. You know?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh
hear
my
your big
God.
flat foot self come in here. I didn't hear you. Yeah, baby, you gonna be a ninja.
That is the best. I just knew you were gonna say something else. I don't know what I thought you were gonna say, but I thought
and the second thing, it was Ninja and then Diane Carroll. I thought I could be Dominique Devereaux.
Ooh, Dominique Devereaux was bad.
I
She
also
was
thought
bad.
that too. Like, I'm gonna be her when I grow up.
Yes.
I'm gonna be a ninja and I'm gonna be Dominique Devereaux.
That is too funny. I love it. I love it. She said, a ninja, Lord Jesus. So my next question is, if you had to put a soundtrack of your life together, name 3 songs that would have to be on your soundtrack.
Ooh, so definitely Kanye West, Through the Wire. The second one is Diana Ross, I'm Coming Up. And the third one, oh my goodness, it's Big Punisher, and it's so hard.
Oh yeah. Okay. Those are some good songs. All right. Yep. We're gonna have to put you a ShantaQ playlist together. So my next question, number 4, is what was the last movie or TV show that made you cry?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. So I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was just a recent movie. It was a Netflix movie, and it had Viola Davis and Sandra Bullock in it. And Sandra was getting ready to get charged. Her daughter ended up killing this man, and she was taking the rap for it. I think the sheriff or something, and it was the scene between Viola and Sandra in the front of the house.
Okay.
And that's when Viola recognized that Sandra was protecting the daughter. It was really heated. And I remember I was just like boo-hooing. I was just like so caught up in the scene. Because I just felt, how she was just really trying, what she would go through to protect a child, it was her little sister, protect her sister in this moment.
Wow. Okay.
I can't remember the name of the movie, but
I'm gonna have to look that up. It sounds like it's good. If Viola was in it, then I know.
Yeah, it just came out maybe 5 or 6 months ago on Netflix. I can't remember the name, but it's Viola Davis and Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock is actually the star of the movie.
All right. And finally, what story does your family always tell about you?
Oh God. So I have always been very creative with my stories, and I would lie my way out of a situation if I could. And so my mom used to have all these amazing perfumes. Everybody, mama had the red door and the white diamond. So my mom had some white diamond, and I would, take her perfume in my backpack to school or whatever. And the goal was to take it to the school, take it, use it, and bring it back. But one day I forgot. And my mom was like, all my perfumes and all my lipsticks are missing. And my dad's like, I bet you if you go up to her school, I was in middle school. I was in the seventh or 8th grade. My dad's like, go up to her school and I bet you'll find all your stuff in the locker. And my mom, I'm like, no, mama, it's not in my locker. I promise. She's like, well, I'm coming up to your school and I'm going to see. So my friend Shannon, I knew all my mama's stuff was in my locker. So I said, Shannon, I need to switch lockers with you. I said, so when my mama comes to the school, she opened up the locker, she won't see anything. So we had it all planned. We switched lockers. Her locker, we tested it. So my mom comes up to the school. She comes and gets me out the class. She's like, open the locker. Girl, try to open the locker. The locker is jammed, right? So now my mom thinks I'm purposely not trying to open the locker. And I'm like, no, I want to open the locker because when I open it, nothing's going to be in there. So we get the janitor. It's stuck. It won't open. I mean, they couldn't get it open at all. So my mom is like, basically like, hitting me on the side. I'll never forget. She's like, you better open the locker right now. When you get home, I'm going, what your mama tells you. I'm going to beat the hell out of you. So I'm like, oh God. So I come up with this story. I make this story up so I come home, I'm crying, right? I get off the bus crying. Oh, and I know I got to meet my little sister. So I meet my little sister at the corner. She goes to the elementary school. I'm at the middle school. I'm crying, girl. I tell my sister, in our neighborhood, even though it was a suburban area, we had a lot of gang members in our area. So I said that the Crips chased me home. They chased me home and they tried to beat me up. And I on the stage, just I done threw rocks on my driveway and everything, right? So my sister calls my mom at work. The Crips tried to jump Shanta, and my dad comes home and he automatically, and I wrote a little note, "We gonna get you," and I balled it up with some rocks, and oh God, it was so theatrical. And my dad comes home and he automatically knows I'm lying. He automatically knows I'm lying because I never knew that he knew when I cried that I was lying. And so he was like, "Tell me the story again." And by the time we got to tell him the story 8 times, he's like, "Shanta, can you just tell me the truth? Can you tell me the truth?" And I'm like, "There's no Crips, there's no rocks, there's nothing." And he's like, "I cannot believe that you sat up here." But I was like, that's how bad I didn't want to get a whooping. And I didn't. And guess what? I didn't get a whooping.
See, that's funny. You had to stage a whole gang fight to get out. Get out of her.
And so my mom always tells the story. It's called The Big Lie.
Oh my goodness. That is fun. That just tells me you really were destined to be like a content creator. Because if you could weave this whole story and all of the little props and everything you had going on, that's funny. I
was been in drama class, so I had been taking drama and stuff. So listen.
I love it. Well, I just want to thank you again for coming here and sharing your story, sharing your light, and encouraging other people just to, embrace living purposefully. So how can people connect with you and follow you?
Yes, absolutely. So you can go to my Instagram at Hey ShantaQ. And there is a link in the bio that is to Beacon IA. It will give you, it's like Linktree. It will give you access to my nonprofit, my manufacturing company, and everything I'm doing, my books. That one little link will get you to everything you need that it involves me.
All right. Well, y'all heard it. Go and follow her because I promise y'all will not be disappointed. Some of these TikToks and these videos will have you screaming. So make sure you go and follow her and support. And thank you again for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So next week, same time, same place, we will be back right here at 6 p.m. Central for another episode of the Bright Girls in Business Show, where we will have none other than Rose Simmons and Rodriguez Underwood on the show. And we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a power couple. So y'all know, look, I'm single and I'm mingling, but I'm trying to get booed up during this cuffing season. So maybe they're going to come on here and have some advice for me on what it looks like to become a power couple. Now, if y'all like this video, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share it, all those good things, because I want to be able to come back. And if y'all don't watch this, then, it's going to be like one of those shows that got canceled on TV. Y'all just won't see it again. So make sure you do that, okay? And we'll see you next week right here on the Bright Girls in Business Show. Thanks for watching the Bright Girls in Business Show. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe and smack the bell so that you get notifications each and every time I go live with a new episode. Until next time, watch one of the previous episodes, and we'll see you next time.